Welcome to Water Opsert School's Distribution System Operator Exam Preparation Series for grades 1 and 2. Going on to number 8, now we have an example of the third most common type of volume calculation that shows up on the state exams for distribution operators, and that is excavation volume calculations, where we are no longer talking about water volumes, we're talking about dirt or material volume that we are digging out of a trench. And so in number 8, reading at the very beginning, how many cubic yards of material? So all these answers that are given in question number 8, even though they don't show any measurement, they all represent numbers of cubic yards. So how many cubic yards of material will be removed from a 4-foot deep trench that is 40 inches wide and 150 feet long? So we have a length given and a width given. Obviously, we're dealing with a rectangular shape in this case. So we can go ahead and set up an equation using at least most of the volume formula in our calculation here, number 8, because we're going for cubic yards. So not a volume in gallons, but the volume in cubic feet is what we'll start with by multiplying the length in feet times the width of the trench in feet and times the height or depth of the trench that we're excavating in feet. And then once we have it in cubic feet, we're going to need to convert that into cubic yards. So we'll do that in the next step. Okay, so we plug in the amounts that were given for our length, width, and height, but one of those is not given in feet. So we got the length given 150 feet, but the width is given as a number of inches. Well, we're going to have to do the same process here that we use whenever we're given a diameter, which will also be in inches. We're going to divide that number by 12 inches per foot. The difference, of course, is that we don't square this number as part of the calculation here like we would with a diameter when we're using it in a volume process. So we take the 40 and divide by 12, and it comes out 3 point and then a whole bunch of threes. So since we're not squaring the number, in this case, it's usually sufficient just to carry it out a couple places past the decimal point. So 3.33 feet for the width instead of using 40 inches. And then the 4 foot for the height or depth of the trench. And that will give us our total volume in cubic feet. So 150 times 3.33 times 4 comes out to just a little under 2,000. In fact, if you don't round off that number after it's converted at all, with all the threes included, you'll end up right around 2,000, right at 2,000. So I'll just go ahead and use the 1,998 cubic feet, though, in this case. And now we need to convert that into the volume in cubic yards, because that's what the answers are given as. How do we do that? Well, we're going to take that amount of cubic feet and divide by the number of cubic feet needed to equal 1 cubic yard. That is actually one of the units and conversion factors as well. If you look back on that sheet right below the last one we looked at for the feet in a mile, if you see there is this 1 yard to the third power, that's cubic yard, is equal to 27 feet to the third power, or cubic feet. So to write that a little bit more like the normal way that we use the conversion factors, this is 27 is the number of cubic feet per cubic yard. So we're going to divide the number of cubic feet by 27 to convert it into cubic yards. So we'll go ahead and head back to our example in number 8. Take our volume in cubic feet, divide by 27 cubic feet per cubic yard. In this case, we have 1,998, right close to that 2,000 amount in cubic feet that we'll divide by 27 and see what we end up with. So 1,998 still showing in the calculator, divide by 27 comes out to 74 cubic yards. Looks like answer D is going to work best in this case. Thank you for viewing this video from Water OpSearch School. For more general knowledge and math practice, please go to www.opsearchschool.com. To purchase the practice manual that was used as part of this presentation and full videos, please visit water-opsert-school.square.site/for the Water OpSearch School online store.